Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. Pipe on the Patio afternoon edition. I am smoking my Savinelli 320 Oceano rusticated. I picked this one up in a trade with Scarecrow Piper. And in it I'm smoking some of my blend that I made up called Mississippi Ghost Ship. And I am loving that blend. Oh man, I am loving that blend. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up. I have blended up a big old batch of that, and it is aging in the cellar right now, so I'm going to let that age for the next 30 days. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this little batch up. I did some tweaking on that other blend, add a little bit more haunted bookshop to it. Made a little more, so because this is so Latakia forward, so I wanted to add a little more haunted bookshop to it. If it's too much haunted bookshop, I'll just add a little more Pirate Cake and Mississippi River. And I use Mississippi River Special Reserve on the new batch rather than just Mississippi River. This is fantastic stuff. So I was watching Newton Piper's video today. He was not showing off, but he was sharing his pocket watch with us. And Dale Piper has showed off some of his watches and his pocket watches. And I've got a few pocket watches that I have acquired over the years. Some were gifts, 2 were gifts, and one was a gift, one was left to me. And one I picked up on eBay years ago. The first one that I got, this was a gift from my mother. It's an old Elgin pocket watch with just a plain nickel case on it. It's in pretty good shape. You know, the nickel cases don't wear out. They're pretty solid. You know, they're just a nickel case. They're not going to wear very much. It still runs. If you can hear it running there or not. I've had this watch for over 30 years. My mom gave me this one for my birthday one year. It is an old pocket watch. So I had a book, I believe it's called the Pocket Watch Bible or something like that. Back before there was the internet, that was where you got all your information from about pocket watches. And that pocket watch, that was made in 1899, and it's a 15 jewel. That was the first year that they made that particular pocket watch, was 1899. They made them for 4 years, from 1899 to 1903. This particular watch was the 1953rd watch of this type that they made. They made a total of 67,800 of them. It's a size 18 rather. And this is the big pocket watch. And it was the first run of that particular watch that they made, Elgin watches. And then I carried that watch with me everywhere I went. That was when I carried it, all I had was this leather fob that I had braided on here for it. And I happened to be at a Eric Clapton concert, and I pulled my watch out and dropped it, and it cracked the glass on it, broke the mainspring on it, and or the balance, something on it broke. And so when I took it right in to get it fixed, and I had a new glass put on it, and I had to make a silver watch chain for it so that it would no longer fall when I dropped it, if I dropped it. So and they fixed everything for me, got it running perfect. And so this watch always reminds me of my mom and Eric Clapton. So a couple of good memories associated with this watch. But I carried that watch with me everywhere I went. I always had that watch on me. And before my wife and I, when we were still dating, I was down at my wife's parents' house, and I was sitting with my father-in-law, and he said, "Hey, can you mind if I look at that pocket watch you got?" And I said, "Sure, Pop." And took it out, showed it to him, and he goes, "That's a nice watch." He goes, "I got an old pocket watch." He said, "It belonged to my Uncle Joe." He said he got it when he retired from the railroad. And he said, "I don't know anything about it." He goes, "I don't know how old it is or anything like that." He goes, "But could you help me find out some information on it?" I said, "Absolutely." Now, this was back before the internet and everything, but I had this big book called, I think I told you this, the Pocket Watch Bible or something like that. Back then you had to actually research stuff with books to find out information, So I brought my book over, and we got out the watch, and this was his watch. This one here. This one is an Elgin Watch Company. It says Elgin National Watch Company on it. And it's pretty worn. As you can see, the back is worn off. This was a working man's watch. All the gilding is gone off the top part of it, and the watch chain is completely stripped of all the gold that was on it. And it was used. It was definitely used watch. So we went through and started looking this up, and this particular watch here is an 1884 Elgin watch, and it was made between 1879 and 1885. It is also a 15 jewel. It's adjusted for several different positions. I don't believe it's a railroad gauge watch. It's not a railroad grade watch. It's not one of the, like a Bun Special or anything like that. That was before those. They made 1,000 of these in 1884. This was the 76th watch made out of those 1,000 in 1884. My father, excuse me, my father-in-law was an orphan, and doesn't know much about his real family at all. And so his Uncle Joe was part of the family, I think, that raised him. And it's kind of, we don't know a lot about his family, but his Uncle Joe gave him this watch, left him this watch when his Uncle Joe passed away. And when my father-in-law passed away, my mother-in-law wanted to give this watch to me, and I would not accept it. I thought that it should go to somebody, one of his children, and not an in-law. And so I politely declined. And when my mother-in-law passed away, one of my sister-in-laws got this watch, and she gave it to my wife and said, make sure Johnny gets this watch. Dad wanted him to have it. And I loved my father-in-law, man. He was like a dad to me. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law. My dad died when I was a fairly young man, in my 20s, and my father-in-law was a dad to me. He really was a father to me, and I truly loved that man. And so when I was given this watch, it meant a lot to me. And right now it does not run. It didn't run when I got it, and I want to get this watch running really badly. And part of me wants to replace the case and keep this old case with it, and part of me wants to just leave this old case on it. And I want to replace the glass. The glass that's on it is plastic, and that's not the original glass that was on it. I want to put a glass on it so you can see through it better. It's yellowing, and it's just not. But my father-in-law was proud of this, man, because it was the only real history he had of his family. You know, he didn't really have any family history. You know, he didn't know his family at all, and this Uncle Joe was the only family he really had. You know, and he was proud of this watch, and I want to make sure it gets running. It'll run intermittently, but it doesn't run strong. And so I need to take it in and get it checked out, oiled up, check the mainspring, the counterbalance, and all of that stuff, make sure everything's working right, and see if anything needs to be replaced. At one time, this looks like it was a beautiful, beautiful pocket watch. It had some, you can't really see it because it's so worn on the back, but it had some beautiful engraving on it. It was once a beautiful watch, and I'm honored to have it. And love the memories it brings back to me. And then the third watch I have here is a small little hunter's case. It's a little small one. And this one is from 1889. It's also an Elgin. And I always loved these hunter's cases, you know, where you can just kind of pop them open like that. I've always wanted a large size hunter's case, and that's something I need to find one of these days. But I just love these, they just pop open like that. You can. This one I got on eBay, and it was working fine, and then it just stopped working, so I need to take this in and get it checked out. And it's kind of a nice one to carry because it's not real big and bulky, but it's got a real cheap watch chain on it, just cheap crappy watch chain, but it works. And but it's a beautiful watch. Got some nice engraving on it. It's not worn at all. It's a beautiful watch. So I just need to get that one up and working again. So so I got some old ones. They're all three over 100 years old, and I just wanted to share those with you guys, and wanted to thank Newton Piper and Dale Piper for sharing their watches with us. And for helping me to bring back memories. And a lot of memories in those watches right there, boy, I'll tell you. A lot of memories. Yes, sir. So Dale Piper, he actually has one of my Holy Grail watches. He's got a bun special, and that's like pretty much the Holy Grail for any watch collector, is the bun special. And the Illinois bun special is a railroad grade watch that's adjusted for seven different positions, or 9 different positions. I'm not sure which one it is, but to me that's the Holy Grail. And then I want to get either an 18 or 16 size hunter case. Those are the two. That'll complete my collection. And I'll pretty much be done after that. But I love pocket watches. I always have. Something about them. But I definitely want to get those 2 up and running. I need to take this one in here and get it gone through. It's running a little fast now all of a sudden, and I gotta get that checked out. I think it might have got magnetized. Or something, I don't know. But I like to take them in every few years and have them oiled and checked out. So anyway, talk to you guys later. I love you. Sorry this one went so long. Emotions got the better of me here. I apologize. But I love you guys. God bless.